Welcome guys to the very first episode of our new segment, Metal and Fury. And if you don't know what Metal and Fury is referencing, it is referencing Warmachine and Hordes. So today, I have Sean with me. Sean, you're part of what? EastEnders, correct?
EastEnders, yes.
And so the EastEnders, what are they?
So the EastEnders is a group of gamers, gamers for gamers, if you will.
Gamers for gamers.
Yeah, we don't just support Warmachine.
Okay.
I am mostly a Warmachine guy.
Yes.
But we have other members that are involved with the 40K group,
Yep.
the X-Wing groups,
Everything like that.
Guild Ball, all
Cool.
that great stuff. So check us out on Facebook, EastEnders.
Yep.
No.com because it's Facebook.
I'll put the link below to the Facebook page so that way you can find it easily.
So what do we got here today?
So what we're going to be starting with for this segment, because I'm new to Warmachine and Hordes, and you, being a press ganger, have been involved for quite a while. And so what we're doing is we're going to be doing a Journeyman League between yourself and I,
Yep.
but then Keith is also going to be involved. Keith is another EastEnder as well.
Yeah, he's another member of our EastEnders group. Really good guy. Very knowledgeable in the game as well. So he's definitely going to be a fantastic resource to tap.
So we're going to be doing the Journeyman League. We're going to be doing 0 points, 15 points, 30, 45, 60, 75.
Yep.
So 6 weeks regular rotation for the Journeyman.
Yeah,
correct?
and it scales up at 15 points, like you said.
Yeah.
And after week 2, you're going to be looking at potential theme lists.
Yep.
Where things get really cool. You can go like I'll be playing Cygnar for this session.
Absolutely.
And I could theoretically do Storm Division, which is a lot of electricity, a lot of flashbangy, sort of really cool stuff. I can go heavy metal, which is a lot of jacks on the table.
Okay.
I could do Sons of the Tempest, which is a lot of pistols. Ooh. So for those gun mage fans out there who love bullets that do more than just put holes in things.
I do love gun mages myself. Like I used to play MK2 for a little bit and dabbled in it. So and the gun mages with is it Lilith? What is the Lael?
Oh, the Laileys?
Yes.
The mercenary guys?
I love the faction for that. You know what I mean? The whole rebellion aspect behind of it. And now they have their own unit of gun mages. Because at the time you could only bring the Cygnar gun mages and use them.
Yes. So what they did was back in I want to say back around Christmas time. Yeah. Maybe a little bit later. They've been kind of building up to these new theme lists,
which is awesome.
The mercenaries are getting some really beautifully put together lists. Their first theme list, which came out with the release of Mark III, was the Kingmaker list. Okay. Which, if you follow the story in the meta, features my man Magnus the Traitor. A cold-hearted bugger if you ever saw one, but
started with Cygnar, then went and did his own thing.
So but they did the Kingmaker list, then they started coming out with a couple of other faction lists for Cygnar, for Khador, Protectorate, and they've been steadily releasing them. And they did a big release just recently for all the factions.
That's awesome. So what we're starting off with today is equivalent to battle boxes, which is like the starter box for Warmachine and Hordes.
Exactly.
So the faction that you're playing is Cygnar.
Yes.
I'm doing Grymkin because I love the theme and the dark sort of fantasy and fairy tale setting between them, or behind them, sorry. And so there isn't technically a battle box for the Grymkin, but in the Journeyman Leagues you have the rule. There's the battle box formation there for them.
Exactly, yeah. So if anybody's looking at engaging in this journeyman sort of play themselves, if you go to Privateer Press's website, privateerpress.com, under organized play, they have the journeyman selection, which has a file which has all of the journeyman starters. So even for those that don't have battle boxes, so minions,
mercs, everything like that.
Grymkin, Convergence Osiris. You can find all the build lists for those there. So every faction can be played in the journeyman,
which is nice. So I guess let's break down the board, show them the board, show them what we're playing with.
This magnificent board here.
We'll get going from there. So guys, stay tuned. Okay, so starting off for my 0 point list, and I say 0 point list even though we have models on the board, the Warcaster or Warlock for Warmachine and Hordes, they come with War Beast points or Jack points, I think, is that what they're called?
So we just call them points.
Okay, so they're
universality, yeah.
Okay, so they come with points that you have to spend on your battle group for a Warlock, and it's still called a battle group for Warmachine as well, correct, Sean?
It's battle group
for both. Okay, yeah. So what it is these points have to be spent on models. So for Warlocks, those guys are like more bestial and such. This is my caster here, the child, and the child. Oh, there's a little bit of a glare there. Has 29 points that she can spend on her battle group, so that's what those other 3 models are there. And so she actually, the caster has Fury, which she can reave off those guys and drain off them as they use it to do special abilities and that, which we'll explain throughout the game. So I got the child, and then I got Gorehound right here, and then I got the Frightmare here, and then the Cage Ranger all the way over there. So that is my 29 points for my 0-point list today. All right, Sean. Here we are with yours. What do you got?
All right, so I'm playing Cygnar, the faction of factions, and there are several people that will argue with me. But what we have here is our Battle Box caster, which is Major Beth Maddox.
Okay, right back.
She's a Stormcaller solo caster, so that blade is more than just a big ton of iron with an edge on it. It can fire electrical bolts up to 8 inches. We have beside her the Firefly.
Okay.
The Firefly is a light jack, an 8-point light jack, which has a couple of interesting abilities that work well with Maddox. So he's got an ionization ability, which is anything within 5 inches of this model that takes electrical damage, takes an extra 2 points.
Oh wow, that's pretty good.
The gun is electrical as well, so it has a range 10 gun with power 12.
Okay.
The definitions for those will come up later.
Yeah.
And he's got a nice little spear here, which, you know, if he gets into close combat, he's not gonna
jab somebody with it.
Yeah, he can't necessarily take down anything huge, but he'll hold his own.
Awesome.
So we have the Lancer here, which has an arc node, which we'll talk a little bit about in a second.
Okay.
He's sort of the reach, shieldy sort of. He kind of has I guess the best way to describe him is kind of like a Spartan with the whole shields.
And the javelin or lance there.
The arc node, which is especially important in this list, is basically like a relay for casting spells.
Absolutely.
So when you cast a spell, spells have range.
That's right.
However, if this is within its control range, then you can arc the spell from this, and the range is dedicated from this model instead of the caster.
And the control range is basically double your
focus, your fury stat. Yeah. So,
which is designated on all the cards.
Yeah, and it changes from caster to caster.
Absolutely.
So. And then the heavy hitter of our team today is the Ironclad.
Awesome. At
12 points, the Ironclad comes with a massive hammer and a fist that in of itself isn't really something that you'd shy away, or that's something you'd shy away from. It's still a pretty heavy fist.
Yeah, and you can do special abilities like throws and stuff like that with it as well.
Actually, all the jacks kind of to some degree can.
Yeah.
With the lights, it's kind of situational, but with the Ironclad, he's way more efficient at it.
Awesome.
He's also got this big hammer here, which if he uses his special ability with that hammer, anything within 2 inches minus himself gets knocked down.
Nice. Which
is extremely effective.
All right, so that is your 0-point list
that
for
is my
today.
0
so
points.
week 1 of our Journeyman League. So we'll show you the board next. So here we are with a 3x3 board for our Journeyman League. We got this nice little tower here in the corner, little wall section, some crates, a couple of hills, a little forest over there, then basically another building wall, and crates on the other side. So it is 3x3. So how do you do deployment on this?
All right, so deployment on most tables, if you're using standard rules,
which we are, more or less.
More or less, we're kind of changing it up for the 3x3 because we're kind of working outside of scope. But with this table, we can give you a little bit of a show too. So in a standard 4x4 deployment table, you have 2 deployment zones. Zones are determined by who goes first. So your first turn player will have a deployment zone of 7 inches, where your second player will have a deployment zone of 10 inches.
Now, why is there a difference in deployment zones?
The reason why there's a difference is because he who goes first at 10 inches will have a little bit of an unfair advantage. So when it comes to things like range weapons, especially when you get into bigger games and bigger guns, you have models like the Cygnar Defender. Cygnar Defender has a 14-inch range gun, and it's POW 16, so that thing can do some pretty hefty damage.
Right from round 1.
So you want to they kind of put that in there. make it a little more balanced.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Now, the way that your pre-deployment works is you and your opponent, if you are a good sportsman, which most of us are.
Absolutely. We try to be.
So what you would normally do, if you want to do the exercise now.
Let's do it now.
So the way that it works is both players roll on a d6.
So I rolled a 1 to Sean's 4.
So that means that I choose whether I go first or second.
Okay. So what are you going to choose to do?
So I think what I'll do, just to kind of facilitate play, I'll go first.
Okay.
Which means that you also have an opportunity here.
Okay.
So where I go first, you choose what side of the table you want to deploy on.
I'm just going to choose on this side because all my stuff's on this side. So
okay,
I'm quite content and fine with this side of the board.
That's perfectly fair. So, and I'm going to be frank with you, that's what I do most of the time.
It's easier to be on this side of the board because I'm
really
already
where
here.
I stand is where I'm going to be no matter what. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that means that my deployment zone is going to be 7 inches.
Okay.
So what I usually do,
different
players have different routines for doing this, but what I usually do is mark 7 inches with my dice.
With your dice, okay.
And the back end sort of forms the line of my deployment.
Awesome, so we'll come back with that deployment zone marked off. Alright, so here we are. Sean has deployed his guy 7 inches up the board. So why did you pick deployment like that?
Well, so there's a couple of advantages with this board that I can utilize.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Because it's a demo, I'll reveal a few secrets. Secrets. All right. So, as you can see, there's a couple of hills here.
Yes.
Now, for ranged guns, there is an advantage.
Okay.
Okay. So when you're up on a hill,
you
get +2 to hit anything that's on a lower level of ground.
Absolutely.
So that means that if I want to make the most out of my Firefly, I probably want to position him on the hill for
which
that
is the one over there,
this
correct?
gentleman right here.
Yeah.
So I pushed him over to here.
Yeah.
So that way he's got direct access to that hill.
Awesome.
Okay.
And now you have, again, we mentioned before that you have a control range, and so all of them are set up within your Warcaster's control range there.
So the control range is, as we briefly touched on earlier, is twice your focus/fury stat, depending on if you're playing Warmachine or Hordes.
Yep.
So because I'm playing a Warmachine faction, it's going to be focus.
Yep, and for me, it's fury.
Exactly.
Yep.
So for the caster that I've chosen for Beth Maddox, she has a focus stat of 6, which means that her control range is 12 inches.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means that anything that I control in terms of my battle group needs to be within that 12 inches. Now, there are special rules that mitigate that, like a particular dog on the board, if you want to point to that.
All the way down here. So I got the Gorehound here, who has the, what is it called? The extended control range.
That's correct.
And so I basically doubled the Fury stat for my normal control range, but then double that. So for the child, she has Fury 7, so her control range would be 14, but you double that to 28. So basically I can put him almost anywhere on the board and still be within the control range of the child there. So that, I've set up my guys 10 inches up. I got this guy over on this side for basically the exact same reason why he put his shooting jack on the opposite side, so for the access to the hill, because he does have a shot as well.
I thought you said you were new to this.
I am new, but it's a standard. I've read the rules, right? So I haven't played since. That's a lie. I've played like 4 games. Tester games up to this point, still fairly new, and so let me just break down what my guys' things do as well, because I completely forgot to do that. So the child, she has a few different spells like Abuse, Discord, Force Hammer, and Tantrum. So Abuse is really good because I can damage one of my jacks, such as this big guy here, and then it gives him +2 speed and strength for 1 turn, but he suffers D3 damage. But then you pair that off with Pain Response, and it allows them to charge and run, I believe, for free. Make power attacks. Sorry. You can charge and make power attacks without being forced, which is really good. So when you force a War Beast, basically you cause them to do a special ability by giving them a focus point or a fury point. And they all have like a threshold and a max fury stat. So like for the for the Cage Rager, he has a fury stat of 4, so he can have a total of 4 fury, and then his threshold is 8. So at the beginning of the round, is it maintenance phase or control that you have to test?
Phase. So what we should do, you're right, we should talk about the mechanics a little bit, because the mechanics are going to be different from your army versus mine.
That's right, very much so.
So one of the, I'll let you talk a little bit about yours, and I'll talk a little bit about mine afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically at the beginning of the round, maintenance phase, it goes maintenance, control, and then your activations, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so at the beginning of the maintenance phase, if any of my beasts, war beasts, have any fury on them after reaving, which is basically taking the fury from the war beast and putting it onto the warlock, I have to make a test where I roll 2d6.
You roll 2d6.
Add the extra.
1.
Is it 1d6?
Give me a second here. Gotta pull that up in my brain. I haven't played Hordes in quite.
So it is 2d6. Just had a quick check because I had a brain fart, and Sean and I both had a brain fart because you're more of a Warmachine player than a Hordes, correct?
Yeah, I've been playing Warmachine steady for probably a good 3 years at this point. Yeah.
So it is 2d6, and you add any remaining fury. So if this Cage Rager had 1 fury on him during the maintenance phase, when I'm checking for threshold, making my threshold check, I then roll 2d6 and add that 1, and I have to roll over the threshold.
Under.
Yeah, well, if I roll over, the threshold,
yeah.
then he goes in frenzies, basically.
Yeah. So just to elaborate on that a little more, you're right. So during your maintenance, during your proper, I'm getting tongue tied here.
That's okay.
During the appropriate phase, you draw any fury that your beasts have accumulated over your last turn.
Which I have a maximum of 7 that I can draw.
It's correct.
If I have none on me.
That's correct. So you need to keep that in mind while you're running your turn.
That's right.
So when that turn comes up, if you draw in all the fury and there's nothing left on your beast, then hey, you're sitting pretty good.
That's right. But if there is,
then that could work to your advantage too. Believe it or not.
Because he could charge somebody else.
That's correct.
So
now
really good.
That can be tricky to manage though.
That's right.
So because he charges the closest creature that's in his line of sight.
That's right.
Including friendlies.
That's right. That's
so
right. Which I don't want.
He might punch the Gorefiend the Gorehound in the back of the head if he's not careful.
Yep. Absolutely, absolutely. So that is that. The Gorehound, like I said, he has a 2-inch reach with his tongue, and that can pull him closer. And then each of the war beasts also have an animus, which basically gives my caster another spell. So like the Gorehound has Lightning Strike, which allows me to do another movement at the end of the turn or the end of an activation where he destroyed or removed a model from play.
Yes, I believe that's Sprint or Lightning Strike.
Well, Lightning Strike gains sprint, or Lightning Strike gives you sprint, and so not only can the beast cast it, but the warlock that is in control of the beast can also cast it.
What's really cool about that is that Animus is the wording on it is really flexible. It says the spellcaster.
Yep.
So all casters have access to their beast's animi, as long as they're within control range, as additional spells that they can use to their existing repertoire. Yep,
and another neat thing too about my warlock, instead of normal feats, so like if you were playing Warmachine or Hordes, most casters, like
every caster except Grymkin, yes,
they get feats, which are like a 1-use ability that they can use and do something phenomenal to really change the pace of the game.
It's exactly that, yeah.
Where the Grymkin, they get 3 trump cards, and so you can use these throughout the game to affect the gameplay and change things up a little bit. Each caster, or warlock, so like the child over here, they all have a trump, which is one that they have to take out of the 3. Yep. So the Wrath is the trump card for the child, and basically for 1 round, everybody in my battle group that are in my control range, their fury is increased by 1. So that is pretty cool. And then usually you would keep these away from your opponent so he doesn't know what you're going to play. But for this game, because it is more learning game and demo, I'm just going to announce what they are. I have Ruin, which allows me to cancel 1 spell that an enemy targets a model in the Warlock's control range. So if he targets a model within this guy's control range, or girl's control range, I get to cancel it. The cost for the spell, which is for him would be his focus, still is spent. And all upkeep spells in the Warlock's control range also expire as well. And then over here, we got Fortune's Path, which is basically if you miss me with an attack, if you miss a model attack against me in my control range, I get +1 attack and damage roll for everybody in the control range of the caster. So
nice. It's like an offensive dodge, which is
yeah,
really cool.
yeah. So it's just a quick little breakdown. So that's what I'm going to be doing for my trump cards for today. So that is about it. So we'll go over to Sean, I guess, and his deployment next. So brief breakdown, because we are doing two different games. I said deployment, I just meant breakdown, because we are doing two different systems technically. Because Warmachine has a few different mechanics than Hordes, because over here his caster, his warlock, has focus, not fury. So what is focus? What happens with focus? So walk us through that.
So, in terms of expending focus, it's the exact same as fury.
Okay.
It's accumulated power at the start of your turn.
Yep.
Where Hordes caster draws its fury from its beasts.
Yep.
It gains its power from pissing off the monsters that are in its command range, right? Whereas in Warmachine, focus is allocated to the caster only. So on a standard turn, what I would do is where you would force models to accumulate fury on your turn.
Yep.
I would give out focus to my models at the beginning of my turn, and then they would have the turn to spend that. Yeah. Anything that they don't use just burns off at the end of the turn.
And with MK3, Mark III,
yep. So
your jacks all start with
So in earlier iterations of the game, it was just you had your caster,
yep,
his or her focus,
yep,
and then you have jacks.
That's right.
Right now, the way that it works in Mark III is every Jack has kind of a power-up ability, so they start automatically every turn with one focus.
Awesome, which you can see there's little tokens behind each of the Jacks Sean's already assigned to him.
So the difference between the games is it's a risk versus management sort of approach.
Yep.
So I automatically get my resources. I have to make sure I allocate them in a way that's beneficial across the board.
That's right.
With you, it's you got to think about the next turn.
That's right.
I'm thinking about now.
Yeah.
So when you're doing all your allocations and your forcing, you have to think about the next turn whether or not it's worth it. Say for example, as with a caster with 7 fury points.
Yeah.
If you've got 2 fury at the end of your turn, that means you can only draw 5.
Yeah.
Which means that in an ideal situation, you don't want more than 5 fury dispersed amongst your models. With me, it's a little more free.
Yeah.
But
me, it's not so much. It's more of a I got to manage mine a little bit more effectively.
And then, but the trade-off is that you have a few more advantages because you have things like animi and stuff.
That's
like
right.
That.
That's right.
Jacks don't have animi.
And which is good for me because it means you do what you do, where I get extra little bonuses from my models. The other thing I forgot to mention as well is if one of my war beasts dies, I still get the Spirit Bond, where I still can take 1 fury from them each round.
Yes.
So that is something to keep a note of.
Yes. So, whereas because it's all based on the caster, if I lose a Jack, I lose a Jack.
That's right.
It's a heap of metal.
Yeah, yeah. So that way I'm not crippled if they're all dead.
Don't have souls.
Where my beasts sure do. So, Sean, you go first. We'll come back, I guess. So, your caster then. What does she do?
Okay, so one thing I did touch on is Beth Maddox does have a ranged / melee weapon.
Yeah.
So her sword, the Storm Strike sword as she calls it, it's a range 10, POW 12 electrical weapon that has the ability to disrupt, which is absolutely useless on a Hordes and Warmachine game. Because disruption is very specifically a Jack targeted ability. Right. Now, if we were playing straight Warmachine, you'd be a little more worried because it means that if I hit you with it, your Jack literally shuts down.
Yeah.
Which means that at the start of your turn, you have to at least allocate 1 focus. Well, you get the one you automatically get, right?
And you use that to shake the effect.
Yeah. If you don't do that, then you have to make a choice of either sacrificing movement or your action.
Yeah.
So it kind of forces some management there, right?
Absolutely.
So it's a substantially powerful weapon. It's not too bad. I mean, we're not talking game changing, but it's good enough. She's a speed 6, which means that she moves 6 inches.
Yep.
On a standard move. She's a def 15, and she's an armor 16, and has immunity to electricity.
Nice.
Okay. Her sword as a melee weapon is a a P+S magical weapon of 13.
Okay.
Which is not bad. It's a little more than average.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what you expect from a warcaster. So, and in terms of her
unless you're my warlock, which is more or less like a war beast.
Well, your warcaster warlock war beat the hell out of anything gets in her way.
That's right.
Exactly that.
She's a beat stick.
The first time I played against her, I was amazed at how crushing her fists are.
Yes.
So, she has quick work, which means that if she takes something out with a melee attack, then she immediately gets one more ranged attack.
Oh, nice.
For free, no cost.
It's going to be a little bit harder with this game, just due to the fact that they're heavier beasts. Take a lot more
but if
damage,
she does, I can still kind of go bang.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, and again, she has another ability which isn't really going to affect you, which is critical cortex damage.
Yep.
So if I hit a jack with that weapon, it automatically takes 1 point of damage to its cortex box.
Not going to matter here, but good to know.
Yeah, so her spells are, she's kind of neat because she's sort of the Swiss Army knife of spellcasters.
Yeah.
So if we go through her list, she has a sail. So whenever she charges, she can charge, or sorry, rather, whenever a jack charges, if it has the assail spell attached to it, it does it at no cost of focus, and it gets +2 to movement.
Nice.
It also moves models an extra 2 inches that it slams.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that later if
if it comes in.
To use it.
That's right.
Dauntless Resolve is an armor boost.
Okay.
So I get +3 to the armor of whatever that spell is cast on, plus the model gets tough.
Awesome.
Which is the 5-up. If you kill me, if I roll a 6-sided die and I roll 5 or 6, I say no, you don't.
You're just knocked down instead. So.
Electrical Blast, standard offensive ability. It is an AOE 3, so it has an area effect of 3 inches, which we would be forced to use one of these templates.
Yep.
So this inner circle, anything that has a base that goes within that is affected by it.
Awesome. And we'll go through that when we're actually playing and it comes up. So.
Yeah, and then we have Onslaught. So any model charging with Onslaught attached to it means that it can charge through rough terrain without being restricted.
That's pretty good.
And then my personal favorite, because it goes very well with a Firefly, is Snipe.
+4 range.
+4 inches to your range of a range weapon of a particular model or unit.
Always good. Always good. Awesome. Well, that is that. So we will come back with Sean's first turn, and we'll break down what happens. So coming over here, Sean's going to be activating first. So break down the turn and what you're doing then.
Perfect. So we've already done our focus allocation.
Yes.
So we can jump right into the meat and potatoes of this.
Absolutely.
Okay. I kind of tend to do that just to make things go faster.
Okay.
So the first thing you'll notice is that every single jack has a focus already allocated to it as per power up.
Yep.
Okay? So at this point, before I do anything else, I have to make a decision. And that decision is whether or not I want to put any more focus on any of my jacks.
That's right.
Now, the reason why you may or may not want to is focus is what allows you to do some really powerful things with your jacks. So, for example, if I want to make my jack run, which is twice the speed, I have to spend a focus to do that.
Absolutely.
If I'm going to engage in combat, I can use focus points to boost attack rolls, which
Okay.
is adding an extra die.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the rule add an additional die, because
there's two different things.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because you can only boost once, but you can add additional dice many times that you get a special rule.
Yeah, as long as
different special rule giving it to you.
Yes, and it'll specifically say add an additional die versus
boost. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it also allows you to boost damage, same kind of structure, only for the damage roll instead of the attack roll.
Yep.
And sometimes there are special abilities which may require focus to be used.
Absolutely.
Okay. So for a first turn on a battle box game, you're probably not going to have to worry too much about it.
No.
But you may want to set yourself up for future turns.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do in my first turn, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to activate my Warcaster.
Okay.
Okay. So Beth is going to move up her 6 inches.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? Instead, I'm going to move her 2.5 inches. Reason why I'm going to do this is, theoretically, I have line of sight on every single one of my jacks here. Yeah, exactly. So, this will allow me to do some casting to set up.
And so when you say line of sight, like if you look at this model here, the front arc, which is the area where you draw a line of sight from, is marked on that base. And it's basically shoulder to shoulder. 50% of the base is your front arc, 50% of your base is the back arc. And so you can measure from any point of your base from the front arc to draw a line of sight. So she can draw from anywhere on the front half into the two jacks beside her, then the very tip one here can see the back guy there.
Exactly.
So that's line of sight right there in a nutshell.
Exactly. And there are some models where line of sight extends at 360 degrees.
Yep.
There's not a lot of models that have that, but the ones that do, there's reasons for it, which makes sense, right?
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do a whole lot of spell casting this round.
Okay.
And it's going to be a lot of movement, but no real combat action.
Okay.
Okay. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to refer to my spell list. And for my spell list, by the way, anybody who wants to kind of fool around with this and not necessarily pay anything for rules,
yep,
I would definitely endorse downloading the War Room 2 app.
Yep.
It has all the battle box content on there. There's no charge for the app itself.
And you can also download the rules as well as a PDF.
The rulebook PDF is available within it as long as your device can support it.
That's right.
That's a key thing.
Because mine doesn't on my tablet. You can download the rules though from elsewhere. But
exactly. The website has it as well. But the reason why you may want to consider this is you want to kind of see how all the factions interplay without committing to one right away.
Exactly.
They're all there.
And so it gives you a chance to look at everything. So which is nice.
So for this, we're going to refer to my spell list.
Yep.
So I think what I'd like to do is I want to spend 2, and I would like to put Snipe
on this Firefly.
On the Firefly.
I don't like that. No, sir. I don't like that.
Most people don't. All right. And then I will also likely want to cast. You know what? I think I'm going to play a little more defensively this time around.
Okay.
So I think what I'll do is I will also spend an additional 2 for Dauntless Resolve.
Okay.
And I will place that on the Ironclad.
Okay. And so Snipe gives you +4 inches for range shots.
Exactly.
And then Dauntless Resolve does what?
Dauntless Resolve gives +3 to your armor and Tough. Now Tough is really only for living models.
Yep.
So he's not going to benefit from that.
But he'll get the +3 armor.
Yeah, and his base armor is already 19. Woo! So it means he's going to be a bit of a tough nut to crack.
That's right. That's right.
All right, and then for my Lancer, I don't really think there's anything that I'm going to want to use right now. I mean, I could... the sail's not really going to do much good for him. I think what I'll do is, again, because of the nature of this turn, I'll set him up in favor of the next turn's rules.
So you're done activation for your Warcaster then?
That's correct.
Awesome. We'll come back with the...
You'll notice she's got 2 focus left on her. This will come in handy, potentially, in the combat rounds to follow.
Yes, indeed. So, I'll come back with the rest of Sean's movement next. Here we go, moving on with Sean's activations. Who are you doing next?
Alright, so first we're going to use the Firefly.
Okay.
Firefly is, based on what I'm going to be doing with it, I mean, it's pretty textbook here.
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're going to force, we're going to hit him to run.
Okay.
So we're going to spend the focus.
You're running him?
Yeah, that's correct.
Awesome.
Okay, so his run means twice his speed.
Yes.
So with a speed of 6, that means that he can move 12 inches.
inches.
Now, that's it.
That's it. You can't do anything else.
I'm done. It's a run and done.
Yep.
So what we'll do is, because we definitely want to take advantage of the benefits of the hill, what we're going to do is we're going to run up the hill to here.
Yep.
Now this is going to give me some really good coverage of the battlefield with this model. So it's on a hill, it's going to get its +2 to hit.
Yep.
It's got its +4 to its range.
Yes, indeed.
And as long as it remains within 12 inches of my caster, I can keep that spell up if I pay the appropriate upkeep.
Next phase, which you are.
Which I'm totally within for sure. Okay. So
awesome.
That sets him up for the round.
Yep.
Okay. Next, we are going to do the Ironclad. This mountain of metal is going to do a full tilt run.
So he's going to spend that focus point that he has back there.
That's right.
And he's going to double his speed of 5, I'm assuming?
That's correct. So as a heavy jack, he tends to be a bit more of a lumbering brute.
Yep. But puts out a ton of damage. So
that big hammer is not just for show, my friends.
No, it's not.
So we're going to put him in the Gully Pass. He's going to sit there like Leonidas in the 300.
Absolutely.
All right. And lastly, we're going to move the Lancer.
Okay.
Now, the Lancer's going to be a bit of an interesting run because he has a couple of different functions.
Okay.
Okay, so he's got the Arc Node, which means that he can potentially sit on the hill and be another
caster
of
some sort.
Yeah, it can be another source for the electrical blast if I decide to use it.
Absolutely.
But because he also has a spear, he's got a 2-inch range for his attacks.
Which is nice.
So he could maybe hide behind here and give additional combat support. So as this guy's laying down the beats, if, say, for example, I'm just shy of killing the model.
Yep, you can charge him up and poke him.
Exactly. and that spear is pretty decent.
Good. And well, then you can boost it by using focus and stuff like that as well. So,
Exactly.
So you get the extra damage there.
Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do to maximize my utility, I think I'm also going to run him.
Okay.
Burning that focus. And we're going to run him up to about here. He's got a speed of 6. Considering that was 12, he's clearly within his 12 inches.
Clearly. Absolutely.
And with that being said, that is the entirety of my turn.
Awesome. So we'll come back with my go next. Okay, so starting off my turn here, I have the Frightmare here. He has something called Acid Blast. What it is a range 10 AoE, 3-inch AoE with a 13-inch POW. So he has movement 6, so I can get him up onto this hill to right about there, right here.
Use that corrosive halitosis.
And he's going to be looking towards the Ironclad all the way over there, which then he has a 10-inch range on his Acid Blast, so that definitely is 10 inches there. So elevation, how does that work? I know it gives me something.
Yes. So when you're on elevated terrain, if you're shooting at something that doesn't have the same grade as you, so if you're shooting down a hill
like this.
Yep, you are looking at a +2 to hit.
All right. So he is right now a rat, which is your ranged attack.
Yep.
5. But he gets +2, so he's 7. And your Ironclad is defense 12.
So you need a whopping 5.
All right, so for hitting anybody in this game, you take 2d6.
That's correct.
That when you don't have it boosted, and you roll it, and you add your modifiers and everything, and try to beat the defense. It's tie or beat the defense, right?
Equal or higher, that's correct.
So here we go. All right, so that's a 10. So that
means you are hitting him with some seriously sick bad breath.
All right, so that's a Warmachine 6 and then 4, so that's 10 plus his 7. Yeah. So the good thing is with AoE, it's a direct hit, so I'd place that like so.
Yep. So
and
just
it's
make
3-inch.
Sure you got the direct line.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's bang on.
So then I do hit both, I believe.
Yeah, you just clip the Lancer as well.
So what happens when, with a direct hit, the Ironclad in this case would take full damage or full power of the weapon, but everybody else in the AoE takes half?
So the way that it works is it's half rounded down.
Okay.
So in the event of a POW 13 blast, you're looking at a POW 6 on anything adjacent.
Like that guy there.
Yep. So.
And so now, because I do have 3 Fury with the Frightmare, I can boost the damage on these as well.
Absolutely.
So normally when you roll damage, you take 2d6 of one color, and then when you're going up against like War Beasts or Warjacks, you use the different die to sort of determine the hit location on the chart, right?
Exactly. So just a quick little elaboration on that, if you like.
I don't mind at all.
So we'll use your Skins and Bones as an example.
Absolutely.
You'll notice that there's a spiral here with 3 different colors. So you have your blue, which is your 1-2, your body, which is your red, which is your 3-4, and your spirit, which is your 5-6.
Yep.
So when you roll your damage, you also roll an additional separate die, and you determine where that damage is going to go. Now, when you fill out one of those spirals, so if you fill out everything in 3 or 4, you get, I believe, 1 minus die on attack rolls. On spirit, it disallows you from using animi. And mind, it disallows you from
damage, isn't it?
I believe it's the to hit.
Yeah, so one's to hit, one's on damage, and then
that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and of course, if there's no spots left, you're
dead.
You're digging up a hole in the ground.
That's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a focus point, or put focus, I should say, Fury. And I'll put a Fury point on the Frightmare to boost the damage of the Ironclad. So the Ironclad has armor what?
Now, the base armor of an Ironclad is 18, but remember that I did put Dauntless Resolve on him last turn, so that means that he's up to 21.
Okay, so 21. So this is POW 13, so it's this plus, what, minus 8 on the die roll?
You're looking at 13, so you need 9s to start doing damage.
Yeah, so here we go. Let's see what I get. That is nothing. That's a whole whopping 6.
Funny thing about acid halitosis
is
it's an acid feature.
That's right.
So what that means for you, rather what that means for me, is that even though you didn't do any damage, you're putting a corrosive marker on my models.
That is
Anything
true.
that's hit by that. Now what that means is that every turn, I have to make a check. A continuous effect check. So if I roll a 6-sided die and I roll a 1 or 2, the effect dissolves. It doesn't do anything. Okay. If it's
anything.
3 or up,
Yeah.
then the effect stays.
Yeah.
And I have to deal with the effect of whatever that spell is.
Absolutely.
Now, for corrosive attack or for corrosive damage, it's just an automatic 1 plink.
Yep.
You roll a 6-sided die to determine where it goes.
Okay, so it's 1 damage. Awesome.
So
they
now,
both get it too because they are both under it.
That's
so
correct.
That's nice.
So you're automatically going to be doing damage every turn. I'm going to be using a disruption token to mark those.
Okay. Awesome. So they both got that. And then, because he was in the area effect, I'm going to boost that too. So I'm going to put another Fury point on my Frightmare. Yep. He now has 2 out of 3. And let's see what I do. Alright, so that I wish was the roll for the other guy. So I have 14.
6, 12.
Yeah, so it's 20 damage in total. Or would be.
Just shy. Because it's 21.
Oh, no, this is on this one.
Oh, sorry for him. That's right.
On the because I already rolled and I whiffed on the first guy.
18. So he's 16 plus 2 because he has the big shield.
Yeah.
So it's 18. So you're actually doing 2 points of damage.
All right.
To the 6.
Well, it's 13, right? Plus that. That's 18. And then you're 20, you said?
Yeah.
So
no, I'm 18. You rolled a 20. Did you not?
I counted wrong, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's 14 plus 13 is 27.
27. So that means that it is a... come on, brain work here. That's 7, 9. That's 9 points to the 6.
Yeah, 9 to the 6. Woohoo!
That's...
My next activation is going to be my child. So she's my warcaster. So I'm going to do some spell casting before I do anything else. Because I really want to activate Abuse. So what Abuse does is target friendly faction war beast gains +2 speed, strength for 1 turn, but suffers D3 damage. So he suffers D3 damage because I'm going to target the K-Trager. So D3 damage takes 1. So I got to determine also where it goes, I guess. So 6. So 1 on 6. So I'll mark that in a second. And then after that, I'm going to charge into the Ironclad there. So I'm going to end, so I can move 10 inches in total because I have a threat range of 10 inches. So I can charge speed +3, so that's 9. And my fist, or claws, with a child, has a 1 inch. So it's a 10-inch range. So he's just within 10 inches. I'm going to be just at the 1 inch mark right there. So that way I'm outside of the 2 inches from the Lancer, but still within the 1 inch of him. And I'm just going to push him off to the side. Like so. Okay, so the child, after charging, gets to make it a boosted attack. Well, I should say it's an attack that the damage is boosted.
Yes.
And your defense is 12?
That's correct.
Okay, I'm at 7. So melee attack is 8. Sorry, not 7, 8. So I need 4.
So you need 4.
Here we go. Let's try this. I'm not boosting. There we go. Nice. There's a 9. So that is a boosted attack, and it's POW 16.
Against my armor 21, which means that you are looking at
dice -5. Dice -5. All right, so there we go. So that is a whopping 4 damage to 2. That is it.
4 damage to the 2, he says.
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right, perfect.
The other interesting thing is I do have a second attack with my claw. That happens without the bonus, right?
Yes, because you have 2 weapons. You each 1 claw, then another claw. Now
so,
it does not get the boosted bonus though,
no,
because it's not the initial charge.
But I don't have to spend the Fury point for it because there's 2 claws. So
it's still a free attack.
This is the free attack for the claws. So I hit again.
Bam.
And I'm going to boost for damage. So that drops me from 5 Fury left to 4. So boosted damage. Here we go. All right. Oh. So that is 11 to the 2.
11 to the 2.
Yeah.
I'm definitely favoring that too.
I'm going to buy another attack, which you can do with Fury.
Yep.
And let's see if I hit. I do. 7 plus 8 is 15. Yep. I'm going to boost the damage again. Bam.
Okay.
And let's hope for something good. Alright, so that's 5 to the 6.
5 to the 6.
And buy another attack. And how much damage do you have left off of?
I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You've done some substantial damage. You've actually taken out his movement.
Okay.
So he's now
slow. Yeah.
However, all of his weapon systems are still intact, as well as his Cortex.
Alright, so I'm going to boost the last attack as well.
Sure.
So here we go. So I got to roll to hit first with the last attack. So I hit. So that's 7 plus my attack of 8, or my mat of 8.
Yep. And then
boosting the damage is what I meant, not boosting the attack.
I know
so here we go. Alright, so that's 9.
Still not bad.
Damage to the 5.
Oh, he's sitting on 1 hit point.
Oh. Okay, so after all that damage from the child, I almost should have destroyed that ironclad if I rolled 1 extra damage somewhere.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to just draw some attention here.
Yes.
He has an acid bath sitting all over him.
That's right.
So you may have only been shy by 1.
Yeah, but I still might get 1.
But you might get your 1 at the start of my next round.
So
you're giving me false hope here now.
Yes. But now with the ironclad, because you have damage on you, and some of your systems have been shut down, you get 1 less die to attack.
So I actually have a few systems that are shut down at this point. So both my left and right are down. So what that means is that any weapons or abilities or tools that I have affiliated with those arms.
Yep.
Abilities and things like, for example, buckler and shield, which gives you additional benefits to your armor.
Yeah.
Are null and void.
Okay.
So you no longer have a shield.
Okay.
If I'm wielding a weapon or an open hand, then it means that if I do an attack, it's at 1 less die. If I'm doing a damage roll, it's also at 1 less die.
Awesome. Okay. I like that.
Now, I don't have a crippled cortex.
Okay.
So I can still give him focus.
Okay.
Which means that I can still boost. And it means I can still buy attacks.
That's right.
However, because I'm down by a die.
Yep.
Really, there's only going to be 1 weapon that's really going to be feasible if I'm going to try to get out of this.
Yes.
Okay. Also, my movement has now been completely maxed out, which means that I'm now Def 5.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot.
It's very easy to hit me now.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to move along next then to my Gorehound. So going with the Gorehound, I'm going to use one of his 3 Fury and get him to charge into Firefly. So I basically am going to be charging him up on this hill, like so, just within 2 inches, like that. So I move my 3 inches, which allows me to get a boosted damage roll on this attack if I hit.
Yes. So when you do a charge, you have to move a minimum of your charge distance, which is 3 inches, in order to be able to gain the benefits of a charge's attack bonus, or a damage bonus rather.
Yep. And then on top of that, though, because you are more of a shooting jack, I now have you engaged, so you can no longer shoot.
That's correct.
But if you want to shoot, you have to move, and then you get a free strike from me as well.
So the way that works is that whenever you're engaged, you're engaged. You're in a melee with another model.
That's right.
Now, if I opt to move out, then you get the opportunity to conduct what's called a free strike, which is a free attack.
Yep.
There's no, if you're in my front arc, I don't believe there's any benefit to you don't get an attack bonus, but you're rolling 3 dice on the damage because you're getting me as I'm trying to run away. So I'm not posing any defense.
Which is good. Very, very good.
Now, you can play that in your cards depending on depending on the models you're using. It might be more advantageous for me to try to back off to shoot you.
Maybe. We'll see what happens. So I am going to put another Fury on him, just purely on the fact that I want to make sure he hits. What's your defense on your guy?
Defense is 13. You may want to consider that if you don't have a high mat.
I only have a mat 6. We need 7.
Mat 6 on def 13. You're looking at 7s.
So I'm going to boost it. Here we go. Boosted attack roll, and I'm glad that I boosted it because that would have been bad. So I definitely hit, and I get a free boosted damage roll. So he's POW 12. Your armor is
16. So we need to do
minus 4. Okay, so here we go. There we go. So that is a whole whopping 8 damage to the 4.
Not bad.
And then I'm going to buy another attack just for the shits and giggles of it. Let's see if I actually hit. So 8 plus his attack of...
Well, that's the to hit?
Yeah, that's the hit.
Definitely hit.
Yeah, okay. And then here's the damage roll. Alright, so you get 4 damage to the 3, I believe. That's 9 plus 12 is 21. So... Because it's dice minus...
my brain's fried.
Dice minus 4 is what it was, right?
Yes.
Yes. So it's 5 damage to the 3.
Yes, 5 to the 3.
Do I cripple anything?
No.
Oh.
No. Very close.
Well, that's it for the Gorehound. We'll come back with the Cage Rager next. Moving on next to the Cage Rager. He does get a +2 speed from the abuse that he took from the child earlier. So his speed goes up to 6, and when you run, you double it. So I'm going to be running him a total of 12 inches, well, almost 12 inches to get into base contact with the Ironclad. and just put him as a threat up there. So I'm going to move that aside, and I'm just going to go like this to get him up into base to base with that guy there.
Excellent.
And then he can't do anything else at that round.
So it sounds
except
like it's click over to...
I will rile him at the end, so I can make sure I get all my fury back. So he ran for 1, then I riled him for 1, because I have 2 on the Frightmare, I got 3 on the Gorehound, and then 2 on him, which will give me next round, hopefully, all 7 of my fury back on my child. So we'll come back with Sean's turn next. Here we go, the start of Sean's turn. So what do you got to do here? Walk us through what you got to do.
So I'm in a pretty precarious position here.
Yes.
Because I've got 2 heavies engaging my one who's only got 1 hit point left.
Theoretically 2 heavies, yeah.
Yeah. Warcaster is pretty heavy, man.
And she is pretty heavy, I agree. The child is not so much of a child.
Yeah, so we also have a Lancer here who's kind of a lightweight in terms of combat numbers, but he's got a few tricks up his sleeve.
Yep.
And we have the Firefly that's tied up. So
that's right.
You've got me in a pretty precarious position here.
Yep.
Now, on top of that, this could be a make or break moment.
Absolutely.
Because if I don't roll a 1 or a 2, that Ironclad is going to the scrapyard.
That's right.
So let's see if my EastEnders branded dice will work in favor. No.
So that heavy is destroyed.
Is now just a pile of slag.
And before they used to have rubble markers for that, but they're not used anymore?
No. So they used to, whenever a jack or a heavy beast would be destroyed.
Yep.
Because these are big things. You know, with Scorn has elephants.
Yeah.
Legion has big dragon-esque type things. You have massive jacks for all the Warmachine factions. So you can imagine climbing over them is not easy.
That's right.
So,
but they just got rid of it just to make things more streamlined now.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. So, which is another thing that I wanted to bring up. You may have noticed when we were doing this, there was a lot of pre-measuring. Now, if you're a wargaming aficionado, you would assume that pre-measuring is kind of a faux pas. In Warmachine, it's actually a part of the standard rules that you do pre-measure.
There's, you know what, and I find more games are going towards that. Like the GW games now, they're going towards pre-measuring as well. So it's actually interesting.
And one of the reasons for that, I actually read up on a few of the arguments from the privateer staff. And one of the best arguments that I heard in favor of it was actually the fact that so many games are won at loss, at the loss of a quarter inch.
That's right.
So
it allows you to be more technical.
Well, not just technical.
Plan ahead, right?
Well, not just that, but I mean, imagine you've put all these resources into this, this, oh my God, Hail Mary, I'm going to completely toast you. And there's one small thing you've forgotten, and it's all of a quarter inch. You've committed everything to this, and suddenly it's like...
Done.
You can imagine, it's a pretty disheartening experience.
Absolutely. So. All right, so that guy's gone. You still got to roll for the other guy to see if he takes damage as well. So,
is it out or is it in?
Oh, it's out. And it's out. He does not take a damage.
All right. Can I transfer that over? No, I'm just kidding. All right. So, I've got a few options here. Okay. Now, how much fury are you sitting on?
Oh, I got none.
Okay. So this actually works kind of potentially to my advantage.
Because I can't transfer anything else.
That's right. So one of the major fundamental rules for Warmachine and Hordes is deflection of damage on your caster.
That's right.
So on the Horde side, the way that it works is if I do damage to your caster, you can expend a single fury point and deliver that damage to somebody else.
That's right.
Now with the Warmachine side, I can spend focus and deflect up to 5 damage.
That's right.
Now I can only do it once
per attack. That's right.
So and that's for both casters.
Yep.
So, and of course, anything that's above and beyond the damage allocated to the deflection or the fury expenditure is rolled back onto the caster.
That's right.
So, okay. All right. So, I'm going to play it a little bit risky here because what's a good game without a good amount of risk?
That's right.
So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to attempt, potentially foolishly, to break combat with the Gorehound.
All right.
All right. So what that means is I'm going to try to move him 6 inches to get him out of combat and maybe over to here.
Well, let's see what happens.
So the first things first, we're going to go over here.
I get the free strike.
And you get your free strike. Now, there's a couple of things that could happen here. If you miss your free strike, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Okay. If you hit your free strike if you take out any of my weapon systems, very suddenly I may have moved, but now my plan could have gone to pot, right?
Yep.
Or you could just completely wreck the jack and call it a day.
Now I get a +2 attack.
+2 attack, and you get an extra die to your damage.
That's right. All right, so we'll come back with that roll here in a second. Okay, so here we are. This is going to be the back strike on the Firefly, right? Firefly.
Yep.
Okay, so I get +2.
Yep, and
so,
it's against a defense of 13.
Okay, so I need 5s.
Okay.
Here we go. There's a 6 and a 5, so I do hit. And then it is.
I was hopeful.
It is boosted. So I don't know how much damage you have left.
He's not too bad off.
Okay.
But he's not.
What's your armor?
My armor is 16.
Okay, so dice -4. So here we go. All right, so that is 12, so 8 damage to the 3.
Eight to the 3?
Yep. I know I've already damaged the 3 once. Let's see.
My gun is still active!
Woo!
Okay. So, the reason why I did this...
Yep.
Oh. But you know what I also failed to do? This is an important stage of the game that I completely overlooked.
Okay.
And I did this intentionally. Now, as a player of Warmachine, you need to be very, very specific on watching what you're doing.
Yep.
I did not allocate any focus.
No, you did not, actually.
So that means that I can't boost anything from him in terms of. Well,
you get one. You get your one.
We get the
free.
one here, which, by the way, that I did not.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did forget to put on there. But if I don't allocate
then
at the beginning of the turn, you can't do it.
Do
later.
anything else? Yep.
So
your caster has all your focus, is what you're saying.
Yes, my caster has all the focus. So
yep.
Now, what I can do is I can either boost the hit or I can boost the damage.
Yep.
What's the armor of the child?
Oh, the armor of the child is 17.
And what's the defense of the child?
It is 13.
13. So I have a rat of 6, which means I need 7s to hit.
Yep.
I am going to... I'm going to boost the to hit.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to spend the 1 there.
To boost the attack roll.
Yep.
Here we go.
Alright, so I need 7s.
And you get it. That is an 11, so you do hit.
So now, remember that I have the ionization rule.
Yep.
5 inches. I'm within. Which means that my gun goes from a power 10 to a power 12.
Alright.
Okay. So, where's my location die?
There's no need for location up against the child.
Oh, that's right.
Just the caster.
So armor 17 versus
That's
power
right.
12. I need to do more than 5 points of damage.
And that
I
is
do
3
3.
damage to the child.
Excellent.
That's not bad. We'll take that. So after taking the 3 damage from the Firefly, the child here has an ability called Outrage. So that when this model is damaged by an enemy attack, after the attacker's resolve, the model gains +2 strength, armor, and Pathfinder for 1 round. So her armor just jumps up to 19 now. Here we go for the next part of Sean's activations.
Okay, so here we go. So, as I mentioned about the focus allocation, because I didn't do so beyond the scope of standard allocations,
Yep.
I'm a little crippled.
Yes.
However, this is where we're going to have a little bit of fun.
Okay.
At this point, if you look at the game, there's a pretty solid chance at this point that Adam's going to win this. So I'm going to play the attrition game, and I'm going to try to do as much damage as I can this round.
All right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feat.
Okay.
Okay. So what that means for Beth Maddox is that while in her control range, friendly faction models' melee weapons gain +3 POW and beatback.
Nice.
So what that means is beatback is whenever I hit something after I do damage,
moves
I
2
move
inches.
it back only 1 inch.
1 inch.
And my model can move 1
1
inch
inch
to follow.
Yep.
So there's 2 things that can happen here.
Yep.
Okay. I could try to take that out,
Absolutely.
or I could try to beat back into combat with the child.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let the feats begin.
Yes.
All right. So.
Because you're not quite in combat range right now with the child.
Not with the child. I'm
So,
about
but
a good
cage
quarter
range.
inch out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to use a few janky maneuvers to try to
Absolutely.
maybe get something out of this. So
So do you have to? You have to hit the model for beatback to take effect, correct?
You have to. I'll read specifically what it shows here.
Okay.
So it's whenever. After the attack is resolved. Okay. If I hit it.
Yeah.
Then it pushes.
Then it pushes.
I don't have to do any damage.
No, you just have to hit it.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's
That's
like
right.
being hit with a baseball
Absolutely.
bat. It could be a Nerf bat and still knock you back an inch.
Nice.
So, all right. So let's do this. So, having reserved all of my focus may end up being the decisive factor here.
It could be very well, actually.
So, we've got a 9-inch range and a 2-inch weapon. So that would put me about there.
Okay.
What is the defense of your Cage Raider?
It's a big whopping 10. You should be able to get it.
Well, with a mat of 7.
I should hope so.
Alright, double snake. Snake eyes, go away. No snake eyes.
Right.
No snake eyes.
And you hit.
Oh, excellent. So that's a 9. Okay, so with it being a beast, we are going to use the proper die.
Okay.
So what is your armor?
19 on the Cage
19 versus
yes.
13. So I got to do 7 to start counting up.
Yeah.
So
no
I don't.
damage.
But
it
does force it back an inch.
That's right.
So we're going to go.
Is it directly away? It just says an inch. Directly
yeah,
away,
just move back an inch. So, okay. And then she is going to move her inch.
Okay. And then, are you at 2-inch now, right?
Totally within
Excellent.
being able to attack the child.
Okay.
Okay. Now the child's defense, you said was 13?
13, I believe.
Okay, so that means that I'm going to need 6s.
Yes. So you're going to buy attack?
I am going to buy an attack.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. 6s. How many hit points do you have?
I got like 15 or so left. 15? Maybe a little bit more. 15.
15. Nah.
No?
We'll save the hit.
All right.
That's a hit.
So you hit?
Okay, we are going to boost the damage.
Absolutely.
So on a power 13 and an armor 17, that means
armor 19 now 19. Because you caused damage to him before.
Right.
So damage to the child.
So I am 13, 19. I have to do 7s and up.
Yep. And you do.
So that is
6 damage. So he's down to 9. I do have retaliatory strike.
You better take it.
But am I within an inch though?
Oh, you're not.
I'm not. So I can't. So I have 9 damage left.
All right.
Buy another attack.
Buy another attack.
All right.
Okay.
You should be able to do this here. You hit.
That's a hit.
Okay.
We're going to boost the damage again.
Absolutely.
I need 7s. Give me some good numbers.
That's 6, so nothing.
Nothing.
I will take it.
They can't all be winners.
Nope. Buy another attack. And
it's a hit.
So your rat is, or melee is what, 7?
So okay. I need 6s damage.
Yeah. Boost the damage. Okay. And that is 9. So 9 plus your what?
That is 20. So it's 1 point.
1 point of damage. All right. So that is leaving me with 8 life left. We'll see what happens next. So recalculating the damage here, there would have been an extra additional 6 damage onto the War Beast. Sorry, 7 damage onto the War Beast, I believe.
You mean the caster?
On the caster. On my Warlock.
So that brings him. That actually brings him down to 1.
I think it brings him down to 1 life. That's it.
We're cutting some serious timing here.
That's all because of the feat that you did, correct?
That's correct.
Awesome. I'm going to check to see what things I have over here that might be able to assist me, the Arcana.
Those Arcana.
Okay, so and in retaliation to being damaged by the Warcaster there, what is her name?
Beth Maddox.
Beth Maddox. I'm going to use the Trump Arcana for the child, which is Wrath. So the Warlock can play this card when an enemy model damages a model in this Warlock's battle group with an attack. For 1 round, the Fury stats of models in the Warlock's battle group currently in his control range are increased by 1, which means she now has Fury 8, so she has 1 Fury left remaining, and everybody else has 1 additional Fury as well.
That's correct.
So, what are you going to do? You have one model left. That's to activate.
Damn you, Arcana!
Yeah, I know. It's going to keep me in the game, I think.
I think that's going to make the difference of differences.
Yeah.
So I really only have one option.
Charge in, try to kill.
Engage.
Yep.
Okay. So, if I am... Okay, so here's how we're going to do this.
Okay.
He's going to engage the child.
Yep.
I have 2 attacks this round.
Absolutely. Your shield and your...
And my spear.
Yep.
So, with +3 to my damage,
yep.
I'm a POW 16
yep.
on my spear.
Yep.
And I'm a POW 14 on my shield.
That's right.
Okay. So, we're not going to boost it to hit. Sorry, I kind of just pulled this off without actually saying what I was going to do. We're not going to boost it to hit.
Okay.
I require, I believe it's still 6s. Your def 13?
13.
Oh, I need 7s.
7s.
Ooh, hot gamble, hot
What do
gamble.
you do?
What does one do in this situation? That's a good question. With all these hit points, all these ablative hit points on the table.
Here you are, Sean. What are you doing?
All right.
Charged, or you moved in?
I've moved in.
Yep.
I'm going to go in for maybe the kill.
Okay.
So my first attack is going to be with the shield bash.
Yep.
So, POW 14, mat 6, I need 7s to hit.
That's right.
Oh!
That is an 8.
We have a hit.
You hit.
Alright, so we are going to boost the damage on that.
Awesome.
So we are looking at a POW 14, armor 17.
Yep.
You need to do 4 or more. 6 or more to potentially kill.
And
oh,
so
you better use that focus point.
I'm using that focus point. So how much damage does that do in total? 9 plus your...
That is...
14?
9 plus 14 is 23.
Okay, so I'm going to transfer that 4 damage that's remaining over to my... I'll do it on my Gorehound over here. So 4 damage onto the Gorehound. So you're going to roll to see where it goes?
No, sorry, I'll do it. Why not?
Okay, so
it goes to the 3.
4 on the 3. Okay, now, I do have retaliatory strike, and you are within an inch of me now.
I am.
So, I get to strike you back now. So, what's your defense?
My defense is 12, I think.
Okay.
Can you just confirm that? Is it 12 or 13? 13.
Okay, so I get plus, I have to get a 5 or higher here. Which I do not.
No!
Oh, that's terrible. That is so terrible.
Oh.
I was hoping to hit you and do some good damage because I have +2 strength right now.
These 2 dice. See these 2
yes.
dice?
They could
the game
be.
hinges
the game
on
ends.
these 2
That's
dice.
Right. All right, so you're gonna buy your attack, or you're gonna do your second free attack, with your lance.
Oh, I need 7s.
There you do, and you don't get it with a 6. The child is still alive.
All right.
And we'll come back to my activation next. So at the beginning of the phase, I sorbed up all my fury from my beast. I did say that I put transfer the damage on the Gorehound, but I forgot that you can't do it to somebody that has max fury, which he had all 3 fury on him, so I had to put it on my Gorechild, or my Cage Rager instead. So I now have 7 fury on my Warlock, and I'm now going to have to determine what I'm going to do. I could technically get the win here with this one by taking out the 2... Jacks, or you can go after his Warlock or Warcaster over there.
One thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did notice this. It wasn't a big deal. I just kept a tally, but you only had 2 markers on here. You used 3, but
I used 3.
Yeah, you collected your markers up. You actually should have 8 there.
How should I have 8?
Because
I had 2, 2, and 3, so there should be 7. Is what I had, because that's what the tab said. So
you're absolutely right.
Yes.
My
I wish I had an 8th somewhere, because I would love it, because it would be great now.
I thought you did it based on count. I think you just pulled everything.
No. I had 2, 2, and so 7 there. So we'll come back with my activations next. So starting off this turn, I'm just gonna measure. You are within 10 inches, so I can shoot my acid splash acid blast. Sorry. At the Firefly. What is the defense of your Firefly?
Would be 13.
Okay. I'm going to boost the attack roll, because I only have a rat of 5.
Oh!
So...
Broad side of the barn is a generous assessment.
Alright, so I do hit. It is a crit, too. Not that I have any crit effects or anything like that. And then I'm going to also boost the damage roll on it.
Okay.
So the route that I'm going, I think it will be easier for me to take out the 2 jacks to take the win, instead of going after the caster with... Oh, you have no focus left anyways, but...
It's the defensive capacities of Maddox are much higher than
exactly,
the jacks,
exactly. So I'm going to boost the damage roll from the Acid Blast. So here we go. Alright, so your armor is what?
16.
16. So that is 13. So 4 damage to 4.
4 to 4, he says.
Yes, 4 to 4.
Okay, that is the Firefly. We are looking at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh! It's a game of ones.
Yeah?
You got 1 hit point left.
Well, I'll be activating the Gorehound next, and he's going to be charging down here, within 2 inches, on the back attack.
Which means, by the way, you started off in his back arc.
Yeah.
So you're going to receive a +2 attack bonus.
Awesome. So his rat goes up to 8 then, in total. And you're 13?
Yep.
So you need
9, 10, 5s.
5s. I'm going to boost it, just be on the safe side.
Sure.
And so that's a hit. And then I'm going to boost the damage roll, so that puts 2 Fury on him as well. 3 Fury, actually, because charge, boost, and that. So here we go. So that's 12, 24, and your armor is...
Not enough to
Not
take
enough?
That.
All right.
Kaboom!
So that jack is wrecked. And we'll come back with the child and Cage Rager next. So going next into with the Cage Rager, he's just going to pivot and move forward a few, just to get within an inch of the Lancer.
Yep.
And then I have 2 attacks. So the first attack that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a boosted attack roll, I think, just to make sure I hit. I'm thinking, because...
Def 13 versus a mat of...
6.
6.
I'm
You're at a 7, so that's
average, but
average not in your favor.
Not in my favor. Yeah. So I'm going to boost the attack roll. So it's a crit.
Nice.
Not that crits do anything, but I do hit, and I will boost the damage roll. So that's 2 of his 5 Fury this round, because he still does have that effect on him.
That's right.
So there's 2. So here's the damage. So it's dice -1, because you're armor 18 right now.
Armor 18 and because he has the shield, yes.
And I am POW 17.
So you're dice off 1.
Yes, indeed. So here we go. Alright, so 8 damage to the 3.
8 to the 3.
Yep.
Okay, just a moment here. Your dice really favor that 3.
I know, it's been focusing right on there.
8 to the 3, so
yep.
Excellent.
So I'm going to buy another attack and boost the attack roll. So there's 2 more out of 5. Actually, I get a free attack. Hold on, so I don't need to buy it, because I do have 2 fists with them. So I'll just boost the attack roll. So that's 6. Plus 6 is 12, so nothing.
Oh.
So I will... So that gives him 3 left. So I'll buy another attack. So 4 out of his 5, because we're still under the Trump Arcana from that. So yeah, so I'll buy another attack and boost it as well, putting him at his full 5. So here we go. That's
a
I
hit.
need a hit, and then dice -1.
All right.
So 7 damage.
That's 7 to the...
To the... Oh, sorry, my bad. 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's still armor 18.
Alright.
You hit everything except for his shield.
Alright, and I should have been doing beat back, but I'm not too concerned because I don't want
You would have beat back him into a hill.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And beat back is selective. You can choose.
I'm not choosing to because I want my child to get in there and still strike at him. So come back next with the child. Alright, so next up is the child. She's going to be doing her first attack, initial attack, into the Lancer. I'm not going to boost the attack roll because I do have Mat 8 and I'm going up against defense 13. So here we go, needing 5s. I do hit.
Ah, nice.
Okay, I'm going to boost. So I have 6 focus left on the... I'm going to boost the damage roll. Yep. So I have 6 focus left on the child.
Armor 18.
Here we go. So I am +2 strength right now, so it's straight dice rolls.
Nice.
So,
let's see it happen.
All right, so that is a 13 to the 5.
Sir, you have just won the game.
Yes. And then the child at this point in time would just,
We'd go back and play with the toys.
Probably. So that is the first battle report for Warmachine and Hordes here. So it is Metal and Fury is what we call this. So we'll come back with the after action report next. Welcome guys to the after action report. You just saw the match between Sean and I, and the very first match of Warmachine and Hordes on Blackfyre Productions. So Metal and Fury.
That was first off, the name is catchy. I love it. I love it. But that game,
it was good, dude.
So many close calls.
Yeah,
so many close calls.
It was really that it hinged on that one die roll that you had with your Lancer for the Lance on the second attack.
Yeah,
and you could have taken it, but you failed to hit.
If the dice gods had decided to shine their blessing upon me, then maybe things would have gone a little differently. But.
So I completely forgot for the majority of the game my Arcana. Completely forgot. Which I'm glad, because then it sort of saved me at the end there with that Fury
Well, if it's any consolation, I forgot my feet when I had it active.
Yes. So. Yes. And when we came back, we're like, oh yes, it's extra damage. So, but that it is what it is. So.
And you'll find that there's quite a few games that end up like that. Everything could hinge on a 6 or a 7.
Absolutely.
And what made that especially painful is I needed a 7 and rolled a 6.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't a 5, wasn't a 4, wasn't a 3, wasn't Snake Eyes. It was a 6. It was like, we'll just take it from you.
Yes, just like the skin of his teeth, you know. It was pretty good. I think, for me, the hero of the match for my side would definitely have to be the child, because the child did phenomenally well, put out a ton of damage, and took a ton of damage in return, but put out a ton of damage. And then I probably think the second one would have been my Gorehound taking on the.
I think so too.
Just sort of holding that one flank, you know what I mean, and that was that's key in being able to get in where I needed to be and apply that pressure. So
that Gorehound certainly earned its points in this game.
Absolutely did. So Sean, thank you very much, dude.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of the Journeyman League, guys. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, ignite your hobby.